In 2010, only one unicorn was created. By April this year, there were already 124 newcomers to the billion-dollar club, and we are only just halfway through the year. Comparatively, Prada took almost 100 years, Nike and Starbucks took about 24 years, whereas it only took YouTube 24 months and Instagram half of that time to join the club. And this year, Clubhouse came out of nowhere and broke the record again to reach that 1 billion valuation in just 6 months. What about on the enterprise side? 8 out of 10 top companies in the world today are in tech. It is clear that tech is eating the world. Strength in numbers. Collectively, the startup economy globally is worth 3 trillion by valuation, which makes it the world's 5th largest economy in 2020. This is more than the UK's GDP. And all this growth happened within the last decades, and 30% of that economy is situated right here in Asia, in spite of these challenges in the Asia startup ecosystems. Not having a homogeneous demographic as a market, which made collaboration historically more difficult due to multiple languages and cultures in the region. There are also significant divides in education and economic development between the different countries. And with each individual ecosystem, stakeholders are more used to working in isolation than collaborating. I believe there is still plenty of growth potential for Asia startup ecosystems. We need to rethink how ecosystems should work, and our vision for the ecosystem have 3 attributes. We want to build an ecosystem, not an ecosystem. Ecosystems are products of its participants, and it needs to be inclusive and represent a diverse community of contributors who are focused on solving problems together, as opposed to fulfilling a single purpose goal like getting commercial returns. The ecosystem also need to be vertically integrated, which means system stakeholders are integrated by creating and exchange value among themselves across the value chains. Last but not least, the ultimate state of ecosystem is what I called an inverted system. An inverted system shifts its value creation from inside the system to outside it. For example, an inverted company shifts its production from company employees to outside, simply because there are more customers than employees, like Uber. Uber derives most of its value from drivers who are not employees. This means the ecosystem moves beyond the vertical integration to open orchestration, where companies don't merely create value within, they encourage and benefit from value creation with the external stakeholders. This vision is the genesis of Huawei Spark, when it was launched in 2020 with 3 objectives. The first is to accelerate startups to become the next unicorns. Second, to contribute to the social and economic prosperity in Asia, and focus on building an inclusive and sustainable startup ecosystem. Running Spark is a bit like running a team to race at F1 championship. Being world's highest class and the fastest auto race, it represents the highest competition based on science, funding, teamwork, individual competency, and determination. There are only 10 teams backed by 10 chassis manufacturers racing at F1 level globally. All professional drivers want to get into F1, but only 20 drivers can make it in. We want a startup to perform at the highest level, to be able to rise up to the occasion and take advantage of the massive potential the Asian market has to offer. This is the Formula 1 for startups, and you need to go hard, smart, and fast. To be an F1 driver, apart from having years of competitive karting experience, racing at F2 and F3 securing sponsorship, you essentially need 2 things. The right car, a chassis that matches the F1 requirements, and more importantly, getting to the right team. This is essentially what Spark aspires to do for you. We are here to raise your competency and gear you up for the race of your life by providing the car, which is a Huawei world-leading tech, and the team who will support you by giving you access to our global ecosystem. The car. Our tech stack enabled Huawei to deliver 137 billion in 2020 across 3 main sectors: the consumer devices, the carrier connectivity, the enterprise solutions. Our technological leadership provides the most comprehensive and competitive tech stack, like how Ferrari and Mercedes builds today's most powerful F1 cars. For startups who focus on consumer technologies and mobile application, Huawei provides HMS, Huawei Mobile System, which gives you the efficient development, fast growth, and flexible monetization. Our newly launched Harmony OS has given the world a viable choice of mobile OS in addition to the Android and iOS. It is also the first to deliver the seamless interaction between a wide range of devices, such as mobile phones, wearables, TVs, and etc. For startups who focus on the business client, it is about taking advantage of the breadth and depth of the Huawei ICT solution stack, such as 5G, cloud, and AI, to build a more competitive product and services and go into the market faster and more cost effectively. Like I mentioned earlier, the ecosystem are product of its participants. It needs to be inclusive and represent a diverse community of contributors. The global ecosystem must include governments, VCs, enterprise, universities, and service providers who bring different value to the table, such as policy, funding, market access, etc. Our job is to connect all of them to form one ecosystem and to facilitate value creation and exchange. To improve the competitiveness of the ecosystem should focus on becoming more vertically integrated. Just as the Chinese world factory state is partially the result of vertical value chain integration, bringing in unmatched speed, efficiency, and economical scale. What this means in practice is that we focus on selecting startups who are working in the same industry, but focus on different aspects and different stages of the value chain. For example, one of our portfolio companies provides mobility and transportation service to enterprise. Its mobility solution relies on external map solutions such as Google Maps. Meanwhile, the enterprise map solution is a core offering from another Spark portfolio company. So the two companies see great synergy in working with each other, exponentially improving their respective offering together. So this strategy has proven to be more risk-proof and viable. By investing companies across the same value chain, you can better ensure collaboration across the investment and mitigate the risk of choosing the wrong company. For the final piece of puzzle, an inverted ecosystem requires us to focus on building a platform that connects all the sub-ecosystems regionally and globally in order to create a network effects to orchestrate value creation from outside. For example, majority of startups in Southeast Asia struggle to obtain talent, especially experienced developers. Sri Lankan IT outsourcing and BPO sector has grown 120% in the last 5 years and is estimated to create 200,000 jobs and 1,000 startups by 2022. We see the opportunity here to contribute and foster a growing and a vibrant ecosystem, which is why Spark is launching in Sri Lanka as we speak, to connect stakeholders, sub-ecosystems, and to help orchestrate value creation between the teams and the countries. And we are not going to stop here. We are planning to add Indonesia, South Korea, Japan to the Spark map in the coming year, which is to complement our existing Singapore, Malaysia, Hong Kong, and Thailand ecosystems. Finally, I would like to invite all of you to join us at the Spark Founder Summit, where you will connect with founders, policymakers, enterprises, investors to harness the thought leadership and the best practices, to learn about the innovation and entrepreneurship that matters to all. Thank you.